guys, so I'm back, and this time around I have something a little bit different, something that I don't typically do, and that is a drugstore haul. I picked up some things from Harmons, and Harmons is a part of Bed Bath & Beyond. It's the beauty supply area in Bed Bath & Beyond stores, and they also have their own standalone stores. And I also went to Ulta and CVS and picked up quite a few things from the drugstore because I feel like the drugstore has been doing great things with products these days, and I wanted to branch out a little bit more into drugstore products and test some out and tell you guys what I think of them, because I know we're always looking for cheaper alternatives, so I know you guys always want me to try out, you know, cheaper things, more inexpensive things, and let you know what I think of them. So I decided to go ahead and grab quite a few things from the drugstore, and I'm gonna share my finds with you guys. So the very first things I picked up were from the L'Oreal Infallible line. L'Oreal recently debuted foundations, a setting spray, and a powder, and I think they also have a concealer as well. They have some brow products. They added a bunch of new products to their lineup, but the thing that a lot of people are hyped about, or the things that a lot of people are hyped about, would be the makeup setting spray, the Infallible Pro Matte Foundation, and of course the matching powder. So I decided to pick these up and try them out for you. And these are very expensive. That's the first thing I will say. I went to the store and I was like, what? $13.99 for this foundation. Yes, and $13.99 for the powder. When did drugstore foundations get so high in price? Like, the most I've spent on drugstore is probably $11.99. And the spray was $16.99. The spray was what? Listen, I don't know what's going on, but these are some of the priciest things I've ever picked up that are categorized as drugstore makeup. So whatever you do, try to get these on sale when they have a buy one get one 50% off or 40% off sale, or where you can use a coupon or your extra care cash from CVS, something to get these cheaper, because they're very expensive. And I am wearing all three of these products right now on my face. I had to give them a test run. I just couldn't wait to do the haul. So I tested them out, and today was my first full day of wearing it to test out the wear and see how it wears. And really quickly, the finish of this, my shade is number 110 Creme Cafe. And I feel like this matches me pretty well. I thought it was going to be off, but it matches me pretty well, and I'll put it on my hand so you can see, oops, too much, the color. I used this on, set it with the powder, and then did a couple of sprays of the setting spray. And I'll show you the color really quick on the back of my hand so you can see the shade. So that's the shade on the back of my hand, and it looks a little bit too yellow, but the back of my hand right now is really pale and really ashy. It's the winter time, what do you want from me? But the foundation actually matches me pretty well, the color, once I blend it in and everything. And then for the powder, I got the shade, what shade is this? Golden Beige. And the actual powders have a different shade range than the foundation itself, and you won't necessarily find the matching shade to the foundation. And even so, I went for a darker shade, and it didn't match. It darkens up once it hits liquid or moisture. So I would go lighter than you think in the powder. This is, like I said, 600 Golden Beige, and it matches the foundation pretty well. I went a little bit lighter, and it actually worked out much better. And as for the spray, I don't know that necessarily extended the wear of my makeup. I just know that it took away the powdery shine of, powder and all that. Because the texture of the foundation, I tried this with a primer initially. I didn't like the finish because it left a very powdery, almost, I could see the texture of it. And I didn't like it with a primer. So I didn't use a primer today, and I liked the result a lot better. So just a little tidbit for that, but I can do a full review of that if you're interested. In addition to that, I picked up the new Fit Me foundation, matte and poreless, from Maybelline. And this is also a brand new foundation to Maybelline's lineup. They have the regular Fit Me foundation, which was a greasy, horrible mess when I tried it years ago, and I did a blog post and it was just a disaster. I hated everything about it. But this new matte and poreless formula I really like a lot better. This one is for normal to oily skin, so it's specifically for, you know, my kind of skin. So I love the texture of this. I prefer it over the Infallible just because the Infallible is a little bit more moussey, powdery. It's still a liquid, but it's a little bit more of a dry texture versus this, which is very creamy on application. Applies really well. It reminds me, believe it or not, of my, oh god, my Dior Star foundation. The texture reminds me of that, and it gives a really nice finish that is not ultra matte. It gives you a almost skin-like natural finish, and then you can set it with the powder, which I also got. For the foundations, I got the shade 330, which actually matches me pretty well. I thought it looked a little bit too light, so I grabbed the 355 coconut to mix with it just in case it was too light, but I really didn't need the coconut shade because this actually matches me pretty well. And for the powder shade, I got 330 Toffee Caramel. And again, I test drove these and I really like how they feel on my skin. I love the finish. I hate the packaging though because there is no pump. It's just this pour out situation, and pouring it out is just wasting a lot of product because it's a thicker foundation, so it doesn't just flow out like a liquidy foundation would, so you have less control. It just comes out in like a glob. But I'll show you the shades on my arm so you can kind of guesstimate what the color looks like. This is the 330 and that's the coconut. So as you can see, the 330 matches me pretty well. Yes, it looks a little dark on my hand, but once I blend it in, it blends in pretty nicely. And then the powder itself is a little bit lighter, almost, so it tones it down a little bit. So I really, really like that over the Infallible, but I like both of them. I also grabbed the Fit Me concealers. I grabbed the shade Cafe number 30 and Deep number 35, which it's interesting that 35, which is deep, is actually lighter than Cafe, which is the shade before it. So I found that interesting. Did they mix something up? I don't know. That's the color on the actual tube. The colors are different, so I don't know what's going on. This one is deep, that light one is deep, and then this one is the Cafe, so I don't know what's going on, but they really blend nice on the skin. They're creamy again, so I think Maybelline actually did really well with these new Fit Me concealers and the Fit Me foundation. I think they really hit the nail on the head with those. And then because someone recommended this, they recommended the Rimmel Stay Matte Primer. Since I love my Smashbox Primed and Poreless and my Mr. Matte Smooth from Givenchy, they said try this out. It's really good at keeping your face matte, and it's, you know, and I said, you know what, let me try it out. I did not like this with the Infallible foundation. This is the primer that I used because it made it very powdery and like I could see particles. Like, it wasn't good for me, and it didn't wear as well with this primer. So I tried it also with the Fit Me, and again it did the same thing. So the foundations on their own do well, but then with this primer they don't do so well. I don't like this primer. I think I'm gonna return it because what I like about the pore minimizing primer from Smashbox is not just the oil control, but it minimizes my pores, which I have larger pores right by my nose area, and that's what I love about that primer. This one doesn't do that. This one is more of a lotiony feel. It doesn't mattify my face initially, and it doesn't fill in pores, so I don't like this. I think, yeah, this one's gonna go back. Then I went over to Milani because Milani has some really great products. These I got at CVS. I got the new powder blushes, the ones that look like roses with the print on it. And I went ahead and grabbed all three colors. This one is Coral Cove, which is like a corally orangey shade. Beautiful color. The middle one is Tea Rose, which is kind of a dusty rose shade. And then you have Romantic Rose, which is more of a neutral rose shade. So here we have Coral Cove, Tea Rose, and Romantic Rose. And like I said, these are more of a satin matte, and they do seem a little bit powdery, but once you apply them to the skin and blend them in, they're not dusty or anything, so they apply really well. So I think Milani did really well with these blushes. Another thing that I was excited about were the new matte lip colors from Milani, and I picked up 4 of the shades. I got Matte Passion, Matte Naked, Matte Diva, and Matte Orchid. And I was excited about these because people were saying, you know, they did a really good job with the formula. And I went ahead and grabbed these 4 shades because those were the 4 that appealed to me. And when you swatch them on your hand, they look really pretty, but then I applied them to my lips and I didn't like the result. I like the colors, but the result on my lips, and I know my lips are not the most moisturized right now. They're not the softest and most luscious. So this is Matte Passion, this is Matte Diva, this is Matte Orchid, and this is Matte Naked. I forgot to show you Matte Glam. That is Matte Glam right there, which is this rich purple shade. And when I applied them to my lips, I didn't like the effect that they had. They applied powdery and kind of like they were showing a lot of imperfections, like dryness on my lips, and my lips are not the softest right now, but they're also not the driest. And after I took it off, I put on my ColourPop lipsticks, and that's what I'm wearing now. I'm wearing ColourPop Grind, and in the center I have Brills and the shade Corset. So that's what's giving me that ombre effect. But like I said, I tried these on and they were so like chalky, and I didn't like the texture at all. I liked the texture on my lips. So I was like, maybe it's my lips, but then I tried on the ColourPop lipsticks and they were fine. So I don't like those at all. I think those, I should return those as well because I really, really didn't like those. And then I went ahead and I grabbed the L'Oreal Miss Manga Voluminous Black Angel. This is supposed to be darker, more intense than the original one. I had the original one, didn't like it. I didn't like what it did to my lashes. It didn't do anything as special as I was expecting. But I'm willing to try out that new one because one of the girls that I watch, Crystalis, here on YouTube, I love her and she likes that. So I said, let me try it out just in case I might like it as well. So I'm going to try that out. And then I also picked up some more products from L'Oreal, the Infallible lineup, like I said. I picked up the Brow Stylist. This is the Clear Brow Gel. And I didn't open this one because I have a clear, a clear brow gel that I'm already working on. And then I also picked up one of the colored ones. This is the medium to dark. I can't find it, because I used it today. But that one gave me really nice dark color payoff. It's a nice rich dark color. So if you have nearly black brows like I do, that is a good brow gel. I didn't open the clear one because I'm not going to use it yet. I'm going to use up my other stuff first. And I picked up a couple more of the Silkissime liners, which I think are absolutely great eyeliners from the drugstore. I picked up the color Green Ivory. Why am I showing you them when I'm not gonna? I have gold, I have silver, and the highlighter shade. And I think I should do a little swatch video of these, but I think the Infallible liners are fantastic from L'Oreal. I just think they could be a little bit cheaper because they are very expensive. They're like $10 each. So I recommend getting them on sale or, you know, using a coupon with these because they are a bit pricey for what they're worth. Even though they're good products, I just feel like drugstore products are overpriced once they hit that $10 mark. You're like, wait a minute, I think these shades are absolutely glorious. Again, that's Green Ivory, Gold, Silver, and Highlighter. Highlighter is like that beautiful highlight shade that you can pop on the inner tear duct area. They're really smooth and creamy and apply really, really well. And I also picked up 2 new Photo Ready Kajal matte eye pencils from Revlon. This is the shade Lemon Citron, and this is Matte Marine. So it's Matte Lemon and Matte Marine. And these are really pretty colors. Revlon, even though there's a controversy going on with the CEO, and I don't use a lot of Revlon products, it's not the company, like it's not the employee's fault. So I don't mind purchasing products from them. I just know that they need to address their CEO really quickly. But these are matte colors with a smudger on the end. So that's Matte Lemon and that's Matte Marine. And again, those seem to be really pretty shades, so I can't wait to try those out. And a body product that I picked up is this In Shower Body Lotion from Nivea. And you know, the winter time, we're really ashy, we're really dry, and while I'll apply lotion, sometimes I forget, sometimes I'm too lazy, or I just skip it altogether. Like, my body is fine, but my legs get really dry and ashy and flaky, and it's just a mess. Especially in the winter time, it's just a mess. And I don't like those creamy body washes like from Dove and Oil of Olay and stuff. So I said, let me try out this In Shower Body Lotion, which you use after you shower, after you rinse off and everything, then you apply this and then rinse this off as well. And I've got the very dry skin version and I like it. I don't love it yet, so I'm still testing this out, but I thought I'd show you that I got that. And then the most important and most impressive things that I got from the drugstore would be the Bold Metals collection from Real Techniques. And these brushes I have been trying out. Of course, I picked them up and I'm like, I'm gonna try them out now, while, you know, before I do the haul. And the packaging is a task and a half. Getting these out was like everything. And then I really don't like when packaging is just too much. I feel like it's such a waste. I'm just there like, oh my god, the dolphins are gonna suffer from this. And then there's this sticky glue that holds them on with a little plastic sleeve around it. Be careful, don't get them on the brushes themselves, because it's really sticky. So I got all 6 of the brushes. It's 6, right? I got all 6. This, I obviously use this. This is the triangle foundation brush. I don't see you know what? I don't see the point of this brush. I see where they were going, the concept. You know, it's angled so you can get in the corners. But I just don't feel like this blends out foundation, which it probably isn't supposed to do because it's just a lay down brush for foundation. I don't like these kinds of brushes, but it is a, you know, if you're into paddle style brushes, maybe that's good for you. I got the large powder brush, which is nice. It's very soft. And again, these are pricier than their original line, if you haven't realized already. The eye brushes, the smaller brushes, are $15.99, and then the big face brushes are $25.99. So they're quite a little bit pricier than the regular Real Techniques brushes, and they are better quality. They have solid handles, they're shaped different, it's a different design, it's more aesthetically pleasing. It's a pretty design. It's heavier, it's more weight in your hand, so it feels a little bit more professional. The powder brush, the bristles are soft. They're soft, they're not the softest I've ever felt. They're not as soft as the Velvet collection from IT Cosmetics for Ulta. They're probably a little bit softer than the Airbrush collection. In between that, but they're softer than their original brushes. But I do like the powder brush. I think it's a nice brush for powder, just loose powder or pressed powder. I prefer to actually press my powder in, so I prefer a denser brush, but this is nice if you like this kind of brush style. The blush brush has a smaller brush, which I was very surprised that they made the design this way, and this is probably one of my favorite brushes. It has a nice small shape. It's small. It has a nice small shape. It's soft. It has this defined shape. You can use this for highlighter, you can use this for blush, you can use this for contour even because of the little shape. It is a little bit denser, so you have to be careful when you're picking up product because you might pick up too much and apply too much, because denser brushes are going to lay down product a little bit more heavily than like a looser, less dense brush, so be mindful of that. They also have this flat top contour brush, which it's very dense. And I can see this being an issue with blending because it is so dense that it's not going to be really a blending brush. It's more of a precise brush. So if you're into sharp contours, this might be a good one for you to try out. I have a better version that I picked up from Sephora, so I'm going to share that in the second part of the haul. But it's a nice brush. I just think there's a better one for you to try. But it's a good brush. It's pricey, so it's not like you're saving by getting that version. You're saving, but you're not saving that much. And then the eye brushes I got, this is the large eyeshadow brush. It's a larger brush, which I was surprised they did this. but it's a nice brush. Since it's synthetic, you can use it for paint pots, for primers, for bases, for a large color all over the lid. And then they have this dome brush, which I have little hairs poking out, and I need to get rid of that. But it's like a bullet brush, but it's a much bigger brush than a pencil brush. So it's good for defined outer creases, to really buff color out, inner tear duct color as well. I like the shape of the brush. I like that it's bigger. And then they have this liner brush, which I haven't tried yet. And I'm going to try it for line, I'm going to try it for brows, but it's a smaller shape. It reminds me of the IT Cosmetics one that I didn't like because it was just, what was I going to do with it? But I think this might be a little better because it has a thin angled shape, but I'm going to try this one out. And with that being said, that is all that I picked up from the drugstore, and I'm excited to try out these things. Let me know what you want reviews for. I think I'm going to do a review for the Infallible, the Fit Me foundation concealer lineup. I'm going to just do those 3 products all in one, the concealer, the foundation, and the powder. And for the other one, I'm going to do the powder, the foundation, and the spray. I'll do a review on the Real Techniques bold metals brushes, and anything else you guys want to see, just let me know. I don't think there's anything else that I really need to go through for a review. But yeah, that is my drugstore haul. So see guys, I am trying, I am branching out, I'm trying different things, and there are some great things at the drugstore that you can test out and find. I actually really like finding drugstore products that are good, especially foundations and mascara, because you use that every day, and I like having a cheaper version so I don't have to splurge so much on those products that I go through really quickly. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this haul, and there will be a higher end haul coming up, so stay tuned for that, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!